The Eagles hold on and grind one out against the Giants. They win 25-22 to keep their playoff hopes alive, and now we are 5-6. And yes, it was a good win. I'm not one of those fans that are going to say, look, we can do this, we can make this run. This was a good win. We have to take each game as its own, one game at a time, and today the New York Giants were on our schedule, and listen, they're not a great football team. Let's not overreact. The Giants are not an absolutely fantastic squad, but what we did is we took care of what we needed to and won. To sum up how this game really played out, Derek Gunn said, as Lane Johnson was walking back to the locker room, he had his hands up like he was praying and said, whew, as he was looking up. I mean, that's how this game played out. It could have went either way, but the Eagles do win, so you got to give them credit. Now, one thing I would like to take a look at is this defense, because it was a tale of two halves, right? The first half, we let up 346 yards. Barkley goes off, right? And then the second half, we hold them to just above 50 yards, and this defense, who was just completely banged up in the secondary, the Ballsbys, the Sullivans, the LeBlancs, I mean, they stopped them. If you told me that Odell Beckham would have 5 receptions and 85 yards today, I would have laughed before the game and said, yeah, right, try 350 yards. I mean, seriously, you got to give credit that the defense played hard. Malcolm Jenkins had a huge interception right at the half, which held 3 points off the board for the Giants, and Eli had a wide open Saquon Barkley on the left side, but we tried to force it into double coverage. There were a couple key drives that I want to take a look at, and obviously the last one being Carson Wentz, right? I mean, just under 6 minutes left. It's a tie football game. They just tied it up 22-22 with a field goal, and we take a drive and we put it together downfield. We convert on a huge 4th and 1 to Nelson Aguilar, who's wide open, and we keep this thing going. We make the Giants burn their timeouts. They only had 2 because Eli Manning calls a timeout earlier in the third quarter when it was a 3rd and 18 and essentially just wasted a timeout. So we get there and we kick a 43-yarder to take the lead. So Carson Wentz and the team put together a nice drive. But how about this? The run game. We run the football. I mean, when you run the football, you win games. And when you look at how many attempts and carries we had throughout our victories this season, it shows you running the ball works. Josh Adams. He was a beast. And the one drive I want to talk about is in the second half. First off, our defense was getting to the quarterback. Michael Bennett, Chris Long, creating 3rd and longs, actually creating punt situations for the Giants. We're putting ourselves in a good spot here to make some noise. And just an amazing drive put together by Josh Adams and Corey Clement, and that offensive line just winning in the trenches. And that put us up 22-19 after Josh Adams gets the touchdown and the 2-point conversion. He finishes the day with 84 yards and a touchdown on 22 carries. He also had a 52-yard touchdown that they called back because of a Jason Kelce holding. Now, there were horrendous and missed calls throughout the game on both sides. I mean, they called that offensive pass interference in the first half on Alshon Jeffrey for a first down on 3rd and 5, which was god-awful. Obviously, that Jason Kelce one. They missed a pass interference call on LeBlanc and Odell Beckham Jr., but that might just be the eliteness of LeBlanc. There was some roughing the passer calls. There was one that the Giants got on Carson Wentz I thought was soft. I mean, this game was just horrendous when it comes to the flags and the referees, but it was consistently garbage for both teams. So, I mean, it's better than very one-sided. Just amazing. Barkley was completely quiet in the second half, and this Eagles team came out and won the second half without a doubt. That pressure by the defense, the run game. I mean, I tweeted before the game, this is how we're going to win. I said, Josh Adams needs the ball. We need to run more. I said we have to put Golden Tate in better positions, and he ended the day with 4 receptions, 30 yards. I didn't love the game by Golden Tate. He had a drop pass. There was also a punt return that he tried to do a little bit too much, and realistically, we could have fumbled the ball. It could have went either way, but they elected to keep it in the Eagles' favor. I didn't think he had his best game. Zach Ertz, obviously a monster with over 90 yards and then 7 receptions. Someone I thought who played well today was Dallas Goedert. I want to see him implemented more as well. And we saw 3 receptions for him for over 30 yards. I liked what I saw out of Dallas. At the end of the day, you look at this game and say, yes, we're 5-6, and it keeps the hope alive. That's what it does. It keeps the hope alive. At this point, I mean, it's one game at a time. Is this defense going to be able to stop teams every single week with how banged up we are? I mean, I don't know. Their first half was atrocious. I mean, there were 4 3-and-out opportunities we had, and we allowed 3rd and longs, 3rd and 5s. I mean, it was really ugly. It looked like in the first half, they didn't even know what to do. They were so prepared as if, what do they do in practice? What do they do in practice? But they turned it around in the second half. You got to give it to them. They played hard, and they shut down this Giants team, or the Giants team just shut themselves down. I don't know. I mean, I would have never expected the Eagles secondary to be able to hold up. But you got to give credit to that line, because Michael Bennett, Chris Long, Fletcher Cox, they really got in there and made Eli Manning struggle. Tim Jernigan getting his first nod back as well. 25-22. I'll be honest, I'm stunned. I love the pass ratio when it comes to run-pass ratio, by the way. The how split it was and how even it was. Because we've seen it. We've seen it where we pass 40 times and run 12. No, today it was even, and we win a game. I mean, is it that simple? Is this going to help us create our identity of actually running the ball more? We got to build off this. I mean, if there's one thing to do, we need to build off of this. Now, one thing that pisses me off is we go pointless in the first quarter once again. Now, that is 9 of 11 games we have been shut out in the first quarter. That has to change. I mean, that just can't happen. You're not going to be successful in this league when that continues to happen. I'm just looking at all these notes, all these drives that we went on. And early on, I mean, it's 3rd and 8, they complete. 3rd and long, they complete. 3rd and 3, they complete. Oh, it was a mess. And at one point, we were down 12-0. There are 2 play calls. Normally winning solves, everything, and you don't really look at play calling and bad decisions. But I just want to throw this out there. There were 2 play calls that I hated. One was a 3rd and 10 early in this game, and we're throwing a screen pass to Golden Tate, which goes for like 3 yards. I just think, out of all the times we're going to use a screen pass to Golden Tate, that's it. Why not that be a 1st or 2nd down play? And that was during the hideous first half, too. So you're hearing the boos. I mean, what is going on? But the 3rd and 10 to the right side on the screen. I would like that play on a 1st, a 2nd. Try and put yourself in a better position. Say you do that on 1st down, you gain 3. Okay, now it's 2nd and 7. But I don't like it on 3rd and 10 where it just gets blown up insanely. And then there was a 3rd and 1, and it was an option with Carson Wentz and Josh Adams and I don't know who the running back was actually at the time, but Carson Wentz ends up keeping it on the option, and he gets blown up, and that was not a great play call as well. But listen, at the end of the day, Carson's been getting some criticism. He didn't have a great first half, but at the end of the game, when we needed him to go on a drive and put something together there with the last 6 minutes, he put us in the field goal territory. He came up clutch on a 4th and 1, and we win this football game. So you have to take it for what it is. Obviously, the Giants are not a fantastic team. Don't get me wrong. They're not a fantastic team, but we went out on the Sunday, and we won, and we're 5-6, and we put ourselves in a position to somewhat keep this hope alive, and then that's all you can ask for. We got to take it 1 week at a time. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves and look at, if this happens and this happens and this happens. No, I'm done with that. Let's just take it week by week. We have the Redskins on Monday Night Football, and obviously the big Thursday night game between the Saints and the Cowboys have to be watched. Let me know what you think on this game. Obviously, it wasn't the smoothest. It was 2 different halves. But you got to give credit to this team, right? It's all about getting the W's. And you get the W and you move on and everyone's happy. That's a pretty disappointing loss for the Giants, though. I mean, I'm just stunned that when I look at it and see Odell Beckham, 5 receptions, 85 yards. With that type of defensive backs and that secondary for the Eagles. Especially after allowing 346 yards in the first half. There were some ugly chunk plays. There were some ugly, ugly, ugly tackling out of this Eagles defense. But, I mean, come on. Didn't we know that was going to happen at some point? We knew it was. But they hold their own. They hold their own there in the second half. And this team puts it together. So the run game. The Eagles defense in the second half. Malcolm Jenkins, big interception. Carson Wentz. Zach Ertz. They put it together. Hey, I got to give Doug Peterson credit on one play I loved. One play I absolutely loved. And let's see here. It was in the second half. It was a screen pass, a fake screen pass to Golden Tate. Carson turns around, does like a 360, turns around, and hits Dallas Goedert on a screen on the other side for a gain. I loved the design of that play. So if I'm going to crush him on the 3rd and 10 I hated in the 3rd and 1, I'll give him credit on that play design because I loved it. Because a lot of people know Golden Tate does a lot of things with the ball in his hand. Fake it to him, bang, Goddard on the other side. It was tremendous. So anyway, we win the game 25-22. That's the positive. We move on to the next game. We're 5-6. Let me know what you think down below on this. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.